What's going on, guys? Greg Farley. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub, make sure you hit the bell. This is my sports page, Sports Comrades. Appreciate you for tuning in sincerely. Every week I do an NFL power ranking, usually on NFL talk groups or sports talk groups, but I've been wanting to do it on the YouTube, and I'm probably going to put these videos in the same place that I usually write in because I was tired of writing. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. The power ranking is the top 10 NFL teams. I've always thought that any of the teams in the top 10 pretty much every year have a chance at winning a championship, because there's going to be, there used to be 12, now there's 14 playoff teams, and I always think that about 10 of them can actually win it all because the playoffs are the playoffs. But anyways, guys, let's jump into this, shall we? Coming in at number 10, I got the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, for me, are number 10 because a simple reason: Derrick Henry, and when he's rolling, the team is rolling. I just left out the Ravens, so I'll go ahead and put them as honorable mention, or 11, I guess. The Ravens are just, they're too predictable, and then all of the elite teams always are kind of prepared for Lamar Jackson. They roll their safeties up into the box and roll their coverage back, and then they pretty much shut Lamar Jackson down. A lot of the worst teams, like the Browns defense, they're a better team, but their defense is awful. They still can't figure that out. It's easy for me to say. I'm just talking as a schmuck sitting on my couch watching it, but I know my football, and I've coached, obviously, little league, stuff like that. High schoolers as well. But sincerely, guys, the Tennessee Titans are very, very potent. They will gladly hand the ball off and run it over and over and over and over again. However, if you can take Derrick Henry out of the game, they kind of fall by the wayside, as you saw when they actually played the Browns a few weeks ago. I believe it was 2 weeks ago now. So they're in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, guys, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in my opinion, are number 9 because, Brady is Brady, but they're very, very dysfunctional. For me, it's always been a little bit strange, and I get irritated whenever I see some of the breakdowns of the Tampa Bay stuff that's going on, because I think Bruce Arians is an actual idiot, and that's why I believe that they're actually in at number 9. It has nothing to do with the players. I think the players, they're an extraordinarily talented team. They have Tom Brady. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. Obviously, their defense is very potent with their front seven, although, the Chiefs kind of picked them apart, but that's neither here nor there. But seriously, I do have a tremendous issue with Bruce Arians, because Bruce Arians clearly, like, with all the stuff in the media and with always calling out Tom, which really ticks me off, because, like, he's never actually won anything. And when somebody that's never actually done anything talks like crazy to somebody that has done it 6 times, that just kind of looks crazy to me, and I just don't like it. But as far as the team goes, guys, when they're rolling and they're actually handing the ball off and not throwing the ball 88 times a game, they're actually a bit of a problem, and they could still very easily win the NFC, or they could completely, well, they still got 2 or 3 weeks. They could miss the playoffs, but I highly doubt that, just because Brady is Brady, and that's just not going to happen. I just don't see that happening. So I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in at number 9. Let me know what you think about that. I'm going to jump into the next one. I got the Browns at number 8. Yes, the Browns. Now, I had them a little bit higher until I watched that game last night. I thought that game last night with the Ravens was spectacular, hard-fought game, and I think the Ravens are still like big bro to them, you know what I mean? But I do feel like them as a matchup for a certain team in the playoffs can be an enormous issue, especially if they can't stop the run at all, because they're going to run the ball. They don't really care, and they can do more than just hand it off, hand it off, hand it off. They can also do some other things because they have weapons. They got Jarvis Landry. They don't have Odell because Odell's out for the year. But as far as the rest of the team in Goku, I always mess that guy's name up, but I really like the Browns. I like them as a team. I could see them in the AFC Championship game against us, but I do see them. I do definitely see them winning a playoff game. Now, it's going to sound crazy because it's Cleveland, and Cleveland has been Cleveland for as long as I can remember that Cleveland has been Cleveland. But Baker Mayfield, when he's playing well like he is right now, and they're running the ball like they are, and obviously their defense sucks, I feel like they could win a playoff game, maybe 2, maybe make the championship game. Just my opinion. I can always be wrong. Coming in at number 7, I got the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams are the most perplexing team in the entire NFL, as well as in the top 10, because when they have a lead at halftime, they're actually undefeated under Sean McVay. I believe it's 34-0 at the moment, because they were actually winning the game against the Patriots last Thursday. But man, when the Rams are up on you at halftime, they're undefeated. However, Jared Goff is the last of the quote-unquote pocket passers, and now he's pretty much fallen by the wayside, to be honest, where he's kind of in his head a little bit, and you can always tell. Just like the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, it felt like Jared Goff is just like thinking too much, or he's in his head. And if he goes sideways, then the whole team goes sideways because that's pretty much what happens anytime your quarterback is off a little bit if they don't have the confidence to pull it back. That's just like life, guys. If you don't know how to get everything back on track, but you're very, very talented, then when you go off track, you no longer can get to your talent because you're in your head too much. I feel like that's the Rams. They can beat the best team in the league, and they can lose to the worst team in the league. They could very easily, seriously, they could beat us, and then next week they could lose to the Jaguars. That's the Rams. So that's pretty much where I got them. Let me know what you think about that. Next up, I got Seattle. Now, Seattle could be higher. Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. I think he's the second or third best quarterback in the league. I think the way that Aaron's playing right now, I think you have to put him above him, and obviously Patrick. But seriously, with the Seahawks, guys, Russell Wilson can very easily carry them throughout the whole playoffs, but they need to be able to run the ball. When they're running the ball, they're winning. When they're not running the ball, they're losing, legitimately. The let Russ cook stuff, it's cute and all, but every time that Seattle is actually a problem, their defense is playing well, they're running the ball well, and then the elite caliber of Russell Wilson just carries them the rest of the way. So I got them in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, guys, I got the NOLA, New Orleans Saints. I got the Saints for the simple fact that Sean Payton, outside of Tomlin and Belichick and obviously Andy Reid, I feel like he's one of the best coaches in the league because he always gets the best out of his players. There's not a whole lot of talk. They just play football. And when they just stop talking and play football, it's actually a matchup for this week. And the Chiefs could very easily win or lose this game. I feel like it's going to be a tough game regardless because the Saints are very, very talented. However, I'm not too scared of them when they don't have Drew Brees. That's just how I see it. But obviously, I just feel like they're not that big of a deal when Drew Brees isn't playing or when they don't have a quarterback that's capable. Like Taysom Hill is nice and all, but eventually that stuff only lasts so long. It's kind of like Tim Tebow-ish. As much as I love Tim Tebow, shout out to the Gators, go Gators, but like at some point the gimmicks wear off. Even like with Lamar Jackson, the gimmick wore off. You saw what happened. You know what I mean? In at number 4, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. No disrespect to the Steelers, but we kind of all figured out who they were these last couple of weeks. But I think anybody that really knows football kind of saw it coming, but they also got really screwed by the COVID stuff with other teams messing up. Not this first time that it's happened because it happened against the Titans because the Titans almost nuked everybody, legitimately. They almost ruined the entire season. But the Steelers got screwed by playing 3 games in 12 days. Like, that's just screwy, and it's not really fair to them. And they paid for it because they went 1-2. However, they've always been a flawed team. They can't run the ball. Big Ben is very, very good, like he always has been. He's a 2-time champion. But there's a tremendous issue, to me, there's a tremendous issue with them not being able to run the ball. Since I've been alive, I'm 33 years old, I don't remember one single day where the Steelers couldn't run the ball. I've never seen it. And I think they're either last or second to last or even third to last. One of the bottom 3 in actually running the ball. I don't remember that ever happening. And for that simple reason, that's why I got them in at number 4, because they're flawed, just like a lot of teams are, but they can't run at all, like in any way, shape, or form. So it is what it is with that. Coming in at number 3, I got the Green Bay Packers. I would have had them in at number 2, but they can't stop anything either. Their defense is trash. I've watched them in certain games, and then they'll be up, and then they'll just get steamrolled and lose the game. But Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind. I actually have him as the MVP right now. You have to give credit where it's due. The man has 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. His QBR is like in the 90s. His quarterback rating is like 120 something. He's not really throwing to anybody but Devontae Adams. He doesn't really have weapons like that. He has one serious weapon, and he has 39 touchdowns. They're not going to stop anything, though, and for that reason, I picked him to win the NFC, but I'm nervous about it because they can't stop anything. So it is what it is with that. Coming in at number 2, I got the Buffalo Bills because nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, but legitimately, they're very, very well coached. I've always said nobody wants to see them in the playoffs. Nobody. AFC side, nobody wants to see the Bills. Nobody. I would like to see them in a championship game because that means that maybe my team or maybe somebody else's team made it. But I feel like they have the quarterback play. They can't really run the ball like they used to. They used to get really run the ball. I guess that when Frank Gore leaves, I guess your whole like running game leaves a little bit. And then obviously they've had Shady McCoy and stuff in the past, but like they don't have real running backs. But they have Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is the exquisite trade, the trade of the offseason because he's balling out of his mind. He has a big arm quarterback. He's like white Cam Newton. No disrespect, no disrespect. Please don't be offended by anything that offended you. I apologize. But he's literally like white Cam Newton. He's big, he's tall, he's fast, he thinks quickly, he sees the game, he knows the game, he's being well coached because their offensive coordinator is a good coach. He's probably going to be a head coach next year. McDermott is an excellent coach. Their fan base is loyal, like the Chiefs fan base. Legitimately, the Bills, I really am kind of saddened a little bit because, to be honest, guys, it's just sad to not see some of these teams that are succeeding right now, like the Browns and the Bills, without their fans. Because I know how trash some of these organizations have been, so it sucks to not see them at all. You know what I mean? And then obviously, number one, the Chiefs. I think we are suffering from the King's curse type of thing, where because we're always everybody's best shot and we always get swung on, like some people are trying to take our head off because they know how good we are, we're kind of like getting bored a little bit, and it's costing us because we're so good. Like literally the team is so good and Patrick is so good that I feel like they're like bored out of their mind at times. And I'm not bragging, I legitimately mean that. It reminds me, like I've said it before in my past power rankings in written form, we're like the Warriors, and when we're like the Warriors, when we're rolling, we're I almost said knocking down shots, but when we're throwing the ball down the field, driving the ball down the field, getting third downs, when Patrick's outside of the pocket, when he's doing the little thing with his hands and he's waving the play in, when Honey Badger is playing well on D, nobody can beat us. Seriously, I don't think anybody can beat the Chiefs. When on everybody's A game, the Chiefs are going to repeat. Seriously. However, that's not football. If you have a B game, and the Bills have an A game, they're going to beat you. Seriously. If you run into the Titans and they have their A game and you have your B game, they're going to beat you. All of these dudes are professionals. They're all Titans. All these dudes are huge, amazing athletes, superstars or whatever. But at the end of the day, I got the Chiefs in at number one. Let me know what you think about these power rankings. I'm probably going to do it a little bit shorter next time. I wanted to talk and give my in-depth reasons as to why. And I'll see you next time, guys. I'm out. Work harder, comrades.